Well, a great New Year's Eve with #1 Alabama taking on #4 Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl with a trip to the national championship on the line. On the first possession, Bama drives it 75 yards. Bryce Young hits Slade Bolden on an 8-yard touchdown pass, 7-0 Alabama. The Tide's defense holds the Bearcats on 3 plays inside the 10, forcing a 33-yard field goal to make it 7-3 Alabama. Late in the first half, Young with a nifty pitch to Brian Robinson Jr., and he's going to take it 23 yards. Robinson had a night running for 206 yards and was named MVP. 3 plays later, Young goes deep for Ja'Cory Brooks, 44 yards, and that'll take it 17-3 Alabama. Second half, Bryce Young finds Cameron Latu for 9 yards, and the Tide take a 24-6 lead. Young sets the single-season passing yardage record with more than 4,500 yards. Alabama beats Cincinnati 27-6, its 5th straight CFP semifinal win. The Crimson Tide's headed to the national title game. Now for more on the Cotton Bowl, let's go out to Dallas and join ABC 3340 Sports Director Jeff Spiegel. Jeff?
All right, Happy New Year, Jamie. And the Crimson Tide rang in the new year by ringing the bell of those Cincinnati Bearcats. And yes, Bryce Young did throw 3 touchdown passes. He set a couple of single-season passing records, but picking the MVP of this game was a no-brainer. It was clear from the opening drive what Alabama wanted to do: bully the Bearcats, and then let Brian Robinson Jr. run wild, and he did. 26 carries for 204 yards. He had 37 yards on 6 carries on that opening drive. He had 134 by halftime. The more carries, the stronger Robinson got, punishing the Bearcats.
I literally put all my heart into this, this university, that team, that locker room. I don't never want to let, my brothers down. I don't never want to let my coaches down. I don't never want to let this university down. So, I just give it everything I got, every chance I get.
Well, I think that's always a goal for us, is to play, with more effort, more intensity, be more physical, play with more toughness than the other team. B-Rob certainly exemplifies that in his style of play, and I think it fires up a lot of people around him when they see, a player be able to do that.
We just proved that we was the most physical team, with the run game, and the defensive front, just the whole defense overall, and the whole offense overall. We just proved that we was the most physical team.
Robinson, the former Hillcrest Patriot, is the latest in a long line of success stories at Alabama under Nick Saban. Guys like Henry, Harris, Jones, guys who patiently waited their turn, and a night like tonight was the payoff.
I'm proud of him in terms of what kind of football player he's become, but I'm also proud of what kind of person he's become. And, I think he embodies what we really try to get our players to do: create value for themselves by what they invest in and what they do. And it took him a long time to do that, but he kept working at it.
I always wanted to, play for a national championship, just being able to go out there and just lead this team, in this big game, on this big stage, to have another opportunity to play for a national championship. As a young kid, that was the only thing I ever wanted to do. It's like a dream come true.
And let's bring in Johnny Congdon now. And Johnny, that Tide defense was dishing out some punishment too.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. It was like an old-fashioned Alabama game, like they stepped in a time machine, running the football and playing defense. And specifically about that defense, well, they had some playmakers flying all over the place. Guys like Brian Branch had one of his best games as a member of the Crimson Tide. Henry To'oTo'o, who was always so clutch as a middle linebacker. And then, of course, Will Anderson Jr., who wins the defensive MVP. But it was a complete defensive clinic tonight. Physicality, the name of the game. And that Alabama defense, well, they are fearsome, to say the least. When you think of the Alabama teams of yesteryear, you think of 2 things: defense and running the football. And this afternoon at the Cotton Bowl, with a ticket to the national championship on the line, Alabama punched theirs thanks to, you guessed it, defense and running the football.
I think you always want to control the line of scrimmage. I think it's always important in any game. And we were able to do that on both sides of the ball, and I think that was a big part of having success in this game.
Bend, don't break. A common phrase in football, but that was more than applicable this afternoon on Alabama's first defensive series of the game. Already with a 7-0 lead, the Bearcats drove the field and were ready to match the Tide. That wasn't until a batted ball, a strong defensive pass breakup, and a tackle for loss thwarted any effort of a Bearcat touchdown.
Yeah, I think, having the mindset of bend, don't break whenever you get in the red zone. it's tough sometimes, however you get down there, whether it's a big play, giving up a big play or a big catch or having a penalty. But, once you get down there, you can't let them in the end zone. That's something I think, a lot of defenses pride themselves on. We definitely do as well.
The Cincinnati Bearcats earned their way into the playoffs, a perfect 13-0 and champions of their conference. But today, they learned the true meaning of SEC speed.
It's one thing to sit there and watch on film and to sit there and draw the twists and stunts that they do on the board and work it out through practice. It's another thing to come down here and play it on a big stage.
Now the Crimson Tide are a single victory away from defending their title as back-to-back national champions. Cotton Bowl defensive MVP Will Anderson Jr., he knows the job's not done.
The message is going to be the same. Nobody is going to give us anything. We have to go out there and take it. We have to earn it. We can't relax right now. Right now is not a time to relax. Now we're going to be playing on the really biggest stage of college football now, and we have to be prepared, and everybody has to be locked in and all in.
And it's going to be a rematch. Georgia just destroyed Michigan 34-11. Alabama beat them by 17 in the SEC title game. Will this game be any closer?
It has to be a lot closer because Alabama absolutely ran Georgia basically out of their own backyard just about a month ago. They have to get pressure onto Bryce Young and vice versa. They have to protect Stetson Bennett than they did in Atlanta about, I think that was December 4th when that game was being played. Now, January 10th, if the Georgia Bulldogs want to go back to the Peachtree City with a big championship, they're going to have to do one thing, Jeff, and that's pressure, 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 because if you give Bryce Young all day, he's going to scorch you like he did tonight.
Yeah, we can't wait. We'll see if Kirby Smart can finally beat Nick Saban or if Nick Saban continues that mastery over his former defensive coordinator. Brenda, back to you in the studio.